Hi there, it's Polly here with Mr. Snoots. So, long ago, in the mists of time. Yeah, so, we used to run these amazing traveller games at conventions, and I would like to see this come back because what I sort of decided was you can sit around a table playing with some friends anytime. That's what role-playing games are doing of a weekend. But at conventions, there's lots of people. So instead of having role-playing tournaments where you've got lots of people playing a module and 4 or 5 people sitting around a table with an umpire, if we've got 200 or 300 people registered to play Traveller, let's do one Titanic game that has 300 people playing at once. So we would design these massive adventures that were designed to keep 300 people entertained all at once. And so just like a whole afternoon at the con each day would be the Traveller Tournament. We were famous for this. People would actually come from overseas to play these things. And so what you'd have to do is you'd get someone like me who would do the overarching scenario. Then there'd have to be lots of sort of sub-scenarios and sub-things which people would design. But one aspect of it was you had to have umpires who were there to adjudicate and run things. But we'd also have to have umpire plants. We would have people who we've got to agree they are playing and having fun, but they are also part of the plot. They're either playing characters that have an agenda within the game that we're using to sort of create adventures and so on for other people, or sometimes they're essentially someone who's got a scripted series of actions to do. But they're sometimes, so sometimes it's a player that we've asked to do some specific things. Sometimes it's actually essentially a non-player character who has scripted actions that they're going to be doing. So yeah, they were fantastic. So I think the first one we did, was a giant giant exploration ship. And we were going to be exploring several different systems and so on. But we had different umpires would design different aspects of the system. So for instance, we decided that this one area has the ancient civilization remnants and so on. So okay, one guy said, well, I want to design like a damaged station that's in orbit around one of these things. It's going to be almost like a space dungeons. And do it. Someone else wants to do like a shattered city. Someone else wants to do some strange aliens and so on that live on one of the other planets that might have some weird resources and things going on. And he's a real xenobiology sort, so he's going to make amazing conundrums about, the environment and how these creatures go. Right, so people would design these things. And for this one, what we had was different subrooms. So each one of those represented one of these locations. So the ship itself, the mothership, would come, you'd announce it's jumped into a new system. Up on the main board would come what sensors are telling you about the system. Good, we have, it's coming in, 9 planetary bodies, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Our location is this. And there were shuttles on board the vessel that you could then use to go and explore these things. In order to utilize a shuttle, you would need one character that's a pilot. Their regulations said there has to be someone there who is an engineer who can fix things if they go wrong, so you need those 2 characters. If you have those, then you may take a shuttle out. Each shuttle, there's basically a folder for it, which had its current state of repair and any equipment that's everything on it. So good, people would come up and they'd say, hi, we're requisitioning a shuttle to go exploring. Fantastic. Please show me your character sheets. One of you a pilot? Yep. One of you an engineer? Yep. Good. Fantastic. Umpire? You'd bring an umpire over. Good. Please take them into room 4. They're going to location 4. And if there are multiple people at the location, they'd be playing in the same room. So they can communicate via suit radios and so on. They're close enough for that. So really good scenarios. But there were some great moments where it's like some of the people, they weren't going exploring at all. They were hanging out on the ship because there was skullduggery going on and various other things. But we wanted some things to keep them occupied. So one of my friends, Rory, hey Rory, he's out there somewhere, he just came in and he'd brought a roulette wheel and some cards and stacks of poker chips. And his idea was he was going to run a gambling casino on the ship, get people into debt, and then the company that's running the ship will basically forgive you that debt if you do certain missions that we needed done to push the action on. It's a great idea. But he's got a croupier's hat that he's got from somewhere, and he sits down and people start clustering around. He sets this thing up. Come on, roll them, go on. Lucky numbers, folks, lucky numbers, folks, lucky numbers, folks. And then he takes some cards and does a sort of squeeze them in one hand, into another, shuffle, fans them, brings out ace of spades. Shuffle, ace of spades, ace of spades. And these people are sitting down and he starts just immediately dealing them poker hands. And I've never played the game in my life. And God help us, and I don't know why these people actually played with him. And it was a fantastic way of bringing people in. We did another one we did I was really proud of, and it was Nuevo Catalonia, and it was genius. I've probably talked about it on the channel before, but I'll say it again because Mrs. Snoots is fond of it. Yay! Where we said, okay, this time we've got one planet. It's Nuevo Catalonia, and it's going to be like a South American dictatorship sort of planet. But what we told people and what appeared in the convention handbook was the thing that said, you're all on holiday. You've got this fabulous cruise, and it's going around this section of the sector, and it's visiting these different picturesque planets. And and number one, the first one that you're visiting is Nueva Catalonia, and there's this little pamphlet there, which was, visit sunny Nueva Catalonia, and you'll be greeted by the enthusiastic locals. And we've got someone's drawn a picture, and it's a couple of sort of peasants yay, waving to you, while behind them there's sort of South American sort of soldier type with a rifle under a crook's arm, smoking a cigarillo, just keep waving, look enthusiastic. And, Nueva Catalonia, yes, currently ruled by President Juan Carlos Jesus, who has been unanimously elected president for life by his adoring people, and see the fabulous mountains of so and so, see the amazing waterfall of such and such, spend time by the sunny beach. And as people are coming into the convention, this sounds pretty stupid. I don't want to go on a holiday, but let's pirate the ship. Let's do this. Let's take it over. So they've all got these wonderful things. But as they come in, I stepped up and could you all gather? So everyone, you've come. The ship has landed. The doors open, and you are ushered through the walkway into the starport. It smells quite new paint, fabulous. And you're waiting for your baggage. Wait, what's this? You've been told a singular honor is about to happen. You're about to actually be addressed by El Presidente himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome El Presidente Juan Carlos Jesus. Yay! And everyone's yay! 300 people applauding away. And the smallest gamer in the city was this guy called Grant, and we actually called him El Gargoyle because he was a scale model human. He's about 4 foot tall, but he is playing El Presidente, and he's gone into a op shop somewhere, and he's found a Thai railway conductor's hat, and it was sort of a like an officer's hat, but it had a real kind of ski jump top, and it was ridiculously oversized. And he's taken fridge magnets that are shaped like fruit and stars and so on, and he's put those all over the visor, and then he's made this kind of magnificent military uniform covered with mock medals, which are all chocolate coins and things. And then he's got and some of these are more fridge magnet fruit and all this sort of stuff, and epaulets and everything, and mirror shades. But he found the two tallest gamers in the city, these two spectrally tall guys, and they're basically dressed in kepis and mirror sunglasses, and just kind of they all played Dente's bodyguards, and one of them's got an orange box under one. And they walk up, and they put the orange box down, and El Presidente jumps up, and he begins to give this speech. So, my friends, it is wonderful to see you here visiting our wonderful country of Nueva Catalonia. And yay, viva el Presidente. And I know you will have a wonderful time here. We are a place of peace and of plenty and of love. Yeah, viva el Presidente. He says, but recently, forces have risen to destroy the tranquility of this planet. Oh, booyah! Rebels have arisen against our government, who wish nothing but destruction and mayhem upon us. Like, oh, everyone's like, boo, down to the earth, down to the... And I know you will join me in your hatred of these destructive influences. Yeah, or down to the destructive influences. Yeah, and I know you're behind me in this. Yeah, viva el presidente. Which is why I now welcome you to the army of Nuevo Catalonia. And this is deathly silence. And someone go, what? And someone says, what? Yes, if you'll please line up over there, and the induction can begin. And someone says, hey, wait, there's 100 of us, there's only 3 of them. Yeah, we don't have to take this. And Grant just points to 2 other gamers standing there. You two, you are now in my imperial bodyguards. Take that man and make him go over and stand in that corner there. Oh, these guys grab this guy. Come with us. What? Hey, and someone else leaps. Hey, we don't take this. Don't let them take him away. And El Presidente points to another couple of gamers. You two, you are now in the Imperial Guard. Take that guy away and make him stand in the corner. What? Hey? And so, hey, you can't do that to my friend. You two, grab him, make him stand in the corner. So and so this guy's over in the corner. And so umpire runs over and says, greetings. You are now in the penal battalion. And the other guys, Imperial Guard, you guys come over here, we'll brief you. Everyone else lines up for their equipment. We've got umpires there. And you go from table to table and they go, okay, 1 rifle, bolt action, 8mm. Oh, okay. And then gets the next one, says, good. And all equipment was like cards that we had created. And they go, good. 5 magazines, 5 rifle magazines, 7.62mm. But they fit in the 8mm, don't they? What? Oh, they kind of do. It's a bit wobbly. What? It's a bit wobbly. What? But hang on, no, these are the wrong bullets. Go to this. One uniform, and some of the uniforms are like old dress uniforms, so they're like, all blues with hats with feathers in them. Others are this and that. And off they went, and they're fighting these rebels. They send off on missions, and everyone's desperately trying to trade to get, the right ammunition for their guns. There's no supplies. Some other guys are told that they are intelligence and military command, so they're sending out spy missions, but they're also like, they've got these maps, and they're well, hang on, we're war games, we're going to win this for the El Presidentes. They're actually playing this whole thing where they're moving corps and divisions around, and what hasn't twigged is that the rest of the people playing, that's the corps and divisions. The 3rd division is those 5 guys over there. 6th Corps is those 12 people over there. These aren't like 10,000 guys, it's 10 guys. And there were these wonderful alien creatures. There were things called Vamosas. They were a alien creature that was indigenous to the planet, and people were using them as sort of cavalry mounts and as beasts of burden, but it turns out they were actually intelligent, which is why they made such great beasts of burden. But these things the natives were actually planning an uprising, and in the middle of this they revolt, but they want everyone to basically be reliant on them and used to them just being dumb and subservient, and then they're going to attack. So that's in the middle of it. We did this money for this. My friend Rory again did this fantastic thing where he made this money, and every square inch of it was funny. They were taco notes. And the idea was to minimize on printing. There's only prime numbers. So I think there was a 3 taco note, I think there was an 11 taco note, and there was something like a 29 taco note. You can make a payment of any amount you want so long as there's enough change. So it's like, this is 17 tacos. Oh, that's easy. That's an 11 taco note and 2 3s. Okay, it's 20 tacos. I'll give you 2 11s and you give me a 3. No, hang on. We'll give you, hang on. 9 3s. And hang on, look, I'll overpay you. Is this 20 tacos? I'll give you 2 11s. Oh, sir, I could not take money from you who've come to fight for our freedom. No, please, no, I cannot take 2 extra tacos from you. Oh, God, have you got anything that costs 2 tacos? Oh, this is 3 tacos. Oh, wait, so hang on. Hang on. So I'll give you 4 3s, and I'll give you the 11, and on it would go. But the thing is, the money is devaluing Weimar style. So what they hadn't realized, there's a huge clock on the wall, and every hour on the hour, all prices double. So your money is worth progressively less. So by the end of the first day, there's bales of money being exchanged for things. And then we changed the script. We pulled a mash on them on the second day, and we, first off, some umpires dropped some notes around that were of a different colour, and people just found piles of these things lying around, so they grabbed them. Oh, free money, and they start spending. And then the announcement comes: it has been found that subversive elements have been counterfeiting taco notes. These taco notes only spread by traitors. So the Imperial Guard will now be going through the room and searching everybody. Anyone found to be carrying these counterfeit notes is clearly a traitor and would be executed. So everyone's desperately trying to ditch their money left, right, and centre. And then we changed military script colours, so it went from like blue money to green money, and oh my god, it was just. And then that's it. The aliens have revolted. Everyone's pushed back. The last line of defence is the spaceport. These guys are frenziedly like firing their last few rounds from their rifles, and oh my god, what are they gonna do? And boom, boom, the ship lands, the doors open, and like, we hope you've enjoyed your holiday here on Neuburg, Catalonia. Get on board! So, yeah, that was a scream. We did a really intriguing one called TADS. And that was interesting. We had a big, long room. So what we did is we said, right, this is water. Now, this end of the long hall down here, this is the bottom of the pond. Way up here, this is the surface of the pond, and we've put marks for different regions. Now, everyone had a badge, and this badge had a swimming creature. You're all these swimming creatures. And it started off looking like a tadpole, sort of an egg-shaped oval, pointy at one end, had a dot for an eye, a little line for a mouth, and had a tadpole-style tail. So this is you. Each of these things had a number code on it for the body and the parts, and there was a size code on it, which was how big you are. Now, in each zone, there are different things to eat. At the end of each, actually, what you could do is you could come up and you could trash in food chits that you'd found. They were like money. They were sheets that you had found. And we're actually keeping track of what your character is eating. And your character evolves very rapidly depending on what it's eating. So if you are on, there was always algae on the surface. That was the other thing. You could always go and just eat the algae, but there was more exciting stuff. So there were worms sort of in the mud in some of the areas down deep. Some of the areas were quite swift flowing water and racy. There were, there's divides there. There was areas of like long, tall kind of weed and grass as well. So if you were like nosing around the ground looking for worms and so on, your form tended to flatten. If you're consistently coming up with stuff that was hiding in the silt, you began to grow like whiskers and electrosensors. And you might even become a catfish looking thing, or you might even flatten out to like a ray if you were doing the whole bottom feeding after crustacean stuff. The ones that are in the swift water are turning more into things shaped like sort of barracudas and so on, thin and streamlined. In amongst the weeds, they're starting to look like a discus because they're going flat so that they can kind of turn and maneuver between all the narrow spaces in the weeds. So you're getting all these different forms, and the more food you trashed in, the bigger you got. Funnily enough, there's one guy who just stayed at the top. He never went anywhere, and no one wanted the algae because I said that's boring. He just gathered all the algae, so he'd come in with double armloads of this. So he ended up elephantine, this monstrous thing. But there were little adventures in all the different areas to do because there was something weird going on. It was this strange alien environment, and there seemed to be machines all tied up with it, and there were labyrinths that you could go into. But as people explored, they triggered something off, and these defense systems start trying to hunt people down and do things. As it turns out, they're on basically a berserker, a giant planet-killing machine, and they are actually in the coolant system of this planet-sized planet destroyer. They've been seeded there as a bioweapon to try and take this thing down, but as the thing notices there, it starts trying to make antibodies to get rid of them. Finally, what it does is it starts drying up the pond. So everyone evolves for more of a land-based form, and it depends on the shape they've got. So fins tend to turn into legs. Some of the ones that have gotten extra empennage, those are actually turning into hands. The guy that was massive and elephantine with his giant tadpole thing, he ends up with 4 legs, but he is literally the size of a mammoth. This round thing, masses and masses and masses and masses of hit points, and he's just plodding along. So he was great. He could just wander through fences. The ones that are turned into flat rays, some of those could actually fly. And there were a couple of guys who had been flying fish who were on the surface chasing after some insect-like things. And so you got some people could fly. We got the giant elephant thing. We got the barracuda guys like running like wolves. We had eel kind of guys who were great. And yeah, they're having to try. The antibodies are building up more and more and getting more inventive ways of killing. So they're having to basically send adventure groups in. The whole convention's having to get together as these guys are sitting there trying to plan en masse. What are we going to do? We have to come up with a plan. And so you've got 100 people trying to make a plan. Okay, let's get the flying guys to scout this. Meanwhile, let's find out where these antibodies are coming from, and let's try and break the machines that are doing that. But we've got to get in and damage the brain of this thing, and we've got to bring the water back. If we can damage this thing and stop it, but we've also got to bring the environment back so we can live here. So yeah, it was like you could do so many fascinating things on a scale that we've never seen before. So it's funny, some other groups started doing this. So the Canberra Games Club started doing some, and it took off. It was a big thing. Australia became quite famous for doing these things in the 70s and early 80s. The conventions ended up shutting us down, which is a real shame. They shut us down because the conventions would come to a standstill because everyone wanted to be in the big traveller games. So no one's playing the D&D tournaments, and no one's playing anything else. It's like, you've got to be there for the traveller game. And we're stripping the convention out. So they just decided the answer to that was forbid us to play it. Instead of saying, hey, we're going to have you guys run at night or something like that. And it's a shame. I would like to do these games again. They required you to know a lot of people. You needed... If you had 200 or 300 people playing, you would need a core designer, an organizer. That person's going to need, 6 or 7 umpire scenario designers working with them, and then on the day you're going to need amongst the 300 people you're going to have half a dozen umpire plants as characters to push the things along, and you're probably going to need another half dozen just umpires there to help run side scenarios for people and so on. So yeah, you're going to look at having a staff of about 20 people or more to run one of these things, but I would love to do it again. Anyway, interesting experiments in mass role-playing games. Hopefully we see them come back again someday. Yay! Anyway, we'll see you again. Bye-bye. Bye, Bonds. Okay, pushing it. Doink.